Hey, I was looking for a video that compares all the codecs available on the Atomos Ninja V, just looking to see whether it's worth shooting the data-heavy codecs or if it's unnecessary. Here's a little comparison between all the ProRes and DNxHR codecs to see if it's worth shooting HQ or just LT for ProRes, or even LB for DNx. Some notes. Aside from the first two here, all of these are analog files. I recorded the Z6 8-bit in the highest possible bitrate, which is ProRes HQ, just to make sure that it wasn't being bottlenecked by the codec. Also, while all the ProRes codecs are 10-bit intermediates, the DNx codecs except for HQX are all 8-bit, so while I send a 10-bit signal out, they're only capturing 8-bit. To my knowledge, this is the only difference between HQ and HQX. For the 10-bit outputs, I've ordered them by recorded data rate, not chronological or stated output. So any colour variation should just be based on time of recording. While the ProRes HQ is stated to be 707 megabits, I found it to actually record about 647, while DNxHQ and HQX were both around 685 megabits. The same is true for ProRes 422 and DNx SQ, with 422 having 426 and SQ having 454. Considering I've only tested this once, and because there's a big space with nothing moving in this video, I would imagine that's the reason for these lower bit rates than stated. Otherwise, all these clips are shot 24 frames per second, 1/50 shutter, ISO 800, which is a native friend log, and f5. They all have an ND filter, but it remains unchanged between the shots. The analog footage has been graded with the Nikon 3D LUT, and the two 8-bit outputs were just standard picture profiles with any in-camera sharpening turned off and no grade. I should have done an 8-bit external versus a 10-bit not N-log comparison, so apologies for not doing that, but I didn't think of it at the time. If you do want to see a video like that, then let me know down below. The overexposure and underexposure tests are trying to see how shadow and highlight retention fares with each of the codecs, and you can see that the lower bitrate have blockier chunks of visible noise compared to the high bitrate ones. I now move on to comparing the middle and higher codecs for ProRes and DNx to compare them. I now do the same for the 8-bit output as well as the two lowest bitrate 10-bit outputs. DNx LB has the most comparable bitrate to the internal from the Z6, but you can see it actually looks a lot worse. I don't know if that'll come through after YouTube compression, but I've included a still here. They'll hopefully clear up and you'll be able to see exactly what it looks like on my screen, or at least something close. Although you can see from 100% it doesn't look too dissimilar, it's just that it looks a lot worse at 400%. It's just a comparison between the 8-bit in ProRes HQ and the 10-bit N-log in ProRes HQ. A lot of the difference is just the fact that N-log has more dynamic range. I tried to grade the 10-bit version just so you can see how it looks when they color match, at least somewhat. It's just a close-up between the 422 and SQ, because they're similar bit rates. It's just a comparison between all the ProRes 10-bit outputs, see if there's any reason you would choose the higher outputs. And then the same for the DNx's. And again at 100% it's very difficult to tell the LB looks horrific, but when you zoom in you can see it does not look very good. I would imagine this because it's probably used as a proxy, but I'm not 100% on that. Now just a comparison between all 6. And zoomed in. This is just comparison between HQ and HQX. I just want to see if there's a difference between the 8-bit and the 10-bit codecs. You can see when it's zoomed in, it looks like there's more color definition on the 10-bit codec, so I've included a still frame. If you look at the second yellow leaf from the top, you see there seems to be a lot more color information, and it seems to make it look like there is more resolution comparatively between the two. So final thoughts, It seems to be the common thought that ProRes LT and DNx SQ are perfectly suitable for any web-based exports. People do tend to say that for non-web exports you might prefer to record in something a bit higher, which is entirely your discretion, but unless I was doing top-end commercial work, I probably wouldn't see the need for it. I would absolutely avoid DNx LB, given that it looks worse than my Z6 internal, which has a lower bitrate. I would assume this codec is used as a proxy of some sort, but as someone who goes in not knowing that, they could end up ruining their footage because they were trying to save space, say they were on a long shoot. I realised I had to zoom in 400% to notice it, but I would still avoid using it if possible. I would always use DNxHQX over HQ, because if you send out a 10-bit signal, you might as well capture it, considering the bitrate is exactly the same, and there's no downside, at least as far as I know. In regards to ProRes or DNx, in the cases where the data rates are close, like 422 versus SQ, or ProRes HQ versus HQX, I'd probably say they're interchangeable, as far as I can tell, as far as just viewing them. Playback on Windows versus Mac is a completely other topic, and I'll link to a video in the description that tackles that. Although for reference, I'm using Windows 10 and I can't tell the difference in playback rendered or not. I hope this was an informative video on what codecs to use, because I certainly couldn't find a video like it, so hopefully this helps someone out, and I hope this helps decide if it's worth the extra bitrate or not. If there's any other codec videos you want to see, then let me know and I'll see what I can do. Thanks for watching.